Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be not ready for a serious relationship. I've got an email here from a guy, and he says he's read my book a dozen times or more. And he thinks he's pretty much got everything handled, but he's been dating this really attractive woman for about 6 months, but the problem is she hasn't asked him to be her boyfriend yet. But even though he thinks he's really got a grasp on the fundamentals, and he claims to have a grasp on the fundamentals, what you're going to see as I go through his email is that he's over pursuing, and he's doing too much, and she's constantly saying, I'm not ready for a relationship yet. And when somebody says something like that, that tells me you're over pursuing, you're smothering her, and you're making her feel like she's losing her freedom. And so he's like, should I ask her to be my girlfriend? When she keeps telling you, I'm not ready for a serious relationship, it's absurd to think the right thing to do is to ask her to be in a relationship with you. That's the kind of thing that makes someone go, what did I just tell you? You're not listening. Guys say, oh, I didn't think she was serious. It's like, why do you think she would say that? It's like, come on, man. So I got a quote that I wrote, and then we're going to go through his email. And this, what I like about his email is it's a really great email because you can tell he's got a pretty good grasp of things, but because he's not really seeing things as they are, he's seeing things as better than they are, he's having a hard time doing the right things because it's obvious he's really into this woman. So like for those of you who've been watching me and you're pretty good and pretty proficient at the things that I teach, this is a great email to really help you get that final 5 to 10% of your relationship game tweaked so you can do the right things and get the desired result. Because the idea is I want you to have somebody that knocks your socks off. I mean, the bottom line is you're going to have more fun and you're going to have greater memories when you're in a relationship or you're dating people that you're crazy about and who feel the same way. It's just like a career or your purpose or your life's work. When you really love what you're doing, you'll work hard at it. And when you really love the person that you're with, you'll really make an effort, and they'll make an effort. And when you really care and love your friends, you'll have friendships with the kind of people who reciprocate that. And they'll be really great, super high quality friendships and relationships. And the quote says, feminine energy is all about communicating, bonding, connecting, opening up to receive love, relationship labels, commitments, etc. Currently, most men are portrayed in movies and TV as having to lock a woman down to a commitment or marriage before some other guy comes along and does it. Men who behave this way in real life come off as being needy, clingy, controlling, possessive, and scare women away. When you watch movies from 40, 50, or 60 years ago, you see the exact opposite. Women were always trying to get men to settle down, propose, and start a family. The men were usually portrayed as being reluctant at first, but by the end of the movie or TV show, they enthusiastically agreed and lived happily ever after. Men are always better off and will be much more effective in creating relationships if they focus on being a great dater, having fun together, and letting women bring up the topic of making a commitment first. Women are the ones who do the choosing anyway when it comes to relationships. Men who try and force this predictably get rejected. So he says, hi Corey, I've read your book over a dozen times and understand the fundamentals well, or so he believes. I am recently divorced after a 10-year marriage, and we were together for a total of 18 years, and I have been dating an amazing, very hot, high-quality woman for about 6 months now. We see each other regularly, at least once a week, and she texts and calls me almost every day, and I respond, but I do use texting to set dates and do so religiously. Well, so far so good. She leans on me for advice and support, which I give to her cautiously and carefully. Remember, when you're in that kind of situation, she starts telling you something, say, do you want me just to listen, or do you want my advice or my opinion? The average guy, when a woman starts telling them about something that happened at work, the guy just starts giving her advice, and she's like, you're not listening to me. He's like, I am. What most women really want is just for you to listen. Women solve their own problems by talking about them. And you can facilitate that by just simply asking questions and saying things like, tell me more, don't leave anything out, what else, what happened next, oh wow, oh my god, really, wow. Watch the video that I did called How to Communicate with Women Effectively. It's one of the essential fundamentals on the homepage of my YouTube channel. I also reference it in my book. I'm a father of 3 young kids. She's a single mother of 2 young kids and was divorced around the same time as me out of an 18-year marriage. There's a paragraph in your book that mentions how women who are out of long-term relationships can go hot and cold rather quickly, displaying high levels of attraction. And from your book, I'd estimate that she's at an 8 or a 9 with me. It's very true, especially I think this particular woman had been married for many years. And I mean, if she's 10 years, 20 years, I mean, if you're like getting together after a few months of her getting a divorce, she can be all over you one moment and the next moment be pushing you away. That's why you really got to proceed with caution when you're in those kinds of situations, especially when you really like the girl. Because women can sense that. They can tell when you're more into them than they are into you. And when that happens, you'll usually get, I'm confused, I'm not sure where I'm able to be right now at this point in my life, and kind of shit like that. I know I'm dealing with that to an extent here. I would say that's a pretty good assessment. He says, one piece of your advice I'm not following is the abundance principle, dating other women. Well, I mean, if you're dating somebody for 6 months, I mean, really, you should be in a relationship by now. But obviously, that's not happening. He says, I'm avoiding this because I know her trust in men is terrible. She was cheated on in a marriage where she was 100% faithful throughout, and I'll explain more about that shortly. I understand the emotional healing involved after a long-term relationship, and I firmly believe I have healed, but feel that she's still hurting. That's why you must let her bring it up. You have to let a woman like this come to you at her own pace. Anytime you try to force it or get that relationship label, really, it's just your own insecurity and fear that you're projecting onto her. And that's simply going to make her feel like she's losing her freedom. And when anybody, man or a woman, feel like they're losing freedom in a relationship, they're going to back away. I'm doing my best as a man to try and help her heal by being a significant other to her. Well, it's not your job to be her therapist or to fix her. But obviously, if she wants to talk about things, you're happy to listen. I've been dating her, having fun, making out, and hooking up, but every now and again, I get the, I'm not ready for a serious relationship yet line from her. That tells me you're pressuring her. That tells me that you're more into her than she is into you, and she can feel it. And there are times, because you're focused on a relationship, I mean, you wrote an email. This was actually a guy who was one of the paid coaching emails for me. So this is important to him. It's important to him to get the commitment. But the bottom line is you're hanging out and having fun and hooking up, and the fact that anytime a woman says, I'm not ready for a serious relationship yet, that means you're coming off as being needy, clingy, possessive, controlling, trying to force things, and she feels like she's losing her freedom. That comes from over pursuing and trying to lock her down to a commitment and force yourself into her life more than she's actually willing to invite you into her life. Then a few days later, we're hooking up and she's all over me physically. Her ex, who cheated on her, then hit her in the face when she found out about the affair, is entirely out of the picture and remarried. She's not seeing other guys, just me. We're both in agreement on a slow, gradual approach as far as integrating in each other's existing families and lives. Well, I would say, just because this particular email, which I've already responded to him personally, is that she's into the gradual approach, but obviously, mentally, you're not into the gradual approach. You want a relationship and you want to spend more time with her. I mean, you wrote an email. You paid me to answer it for you. That tells me you're concerned that things aren't moving as fast as you would like them to. And because of that, you're trying to force things. And that's really the only reason why she's not over her heels in love with you at this point and is still mentioning, I'm not ready for a serious relationship yet. So you need to slow your roll, dude. She's met my kids, I've met hers, and we've gone on dates together with the kids in tow, and she's introduced me to her family and closest friends, so I'm relatively confident of my strong standing with her. But it's like the only thing that you're really missing is the relationship label. But the bottom line is she keeps telling you she's not ready for that label, but yet you're constantly trying to corral her into that. And that's why you're 6 months down the road and she hasn't asked you to be exclusive and be her boyfriend yet. My goal and purpose with her is a long-term relationship. Once again, what's he focused on? He's focused on a relationship instead of creating an opportunity for sex to happen by hanging out, having fun, and hooking up. But I don't discuss that. It doesn't matter if you bring it up or not. She can tell, she can feel it. She can tell by the way you look at her, the kinds of things you say. So even though you're not specifically saying, I want a long-term relationship, you're acting like a guy who wants to be in a long-term relationship. You're doing too much, you're over-pursuing. And how do I know? Because she says, I'm not ready for a serious relationship yet. And she's obviously mentioned that several times because you mentioned that she brings it up every now and again. You're pushing too hard, trying to do too much too soon, probably trying to do things with your kids and your families and suggesting why don't we get together, my family, your family. And so you're trying to make things be more like a relationship because that's what you're focused on. Instead of just hanging out, having fun, and hooking up. You're complicating things instead of keeping it simple. I don't pressure her into anything. Well, if you weren't trying to pressure her, she wouldn't be saying, I'm not ready for a serious relationship yet, dude. That's the reality. And so he has his perception. He's trying to present, hey, I'm doing everything. I'm following the book. I'm great. I'm awesome. I'm good. But the bottom line is she keeps saying, I'm not ready for a serious relationship yet. That's why I'm able to read right through the BS because, he's puffing himself up a little bit. He's like, trying to portray himself as he's doing everything perfect. But if he was doing everything perfect, he wouldn't have even written me the email in the first place. He says, nor do I discuss the future with her. I keep things in the here and now, and I'm just wondering if she's wanting for me to make a move and formally commit to her, full-blown boyfriend-girlfriend discussion, and if I should bring it up since that is what I want. Dude, you can ignore reality, but you can't ignore the consequences of ignoring reality. I mean, asking me that is just absolutely absurd when you've mentioned that she keeps telling you I'm not ready for a relationship yet. So if she's constantly telling you I'm not ready for a relationship yet, why do you think it's going to be a good conversation if you bring up being exclusive? She's going to go like, this guy doesn't fucking listen to me. And that's going to make her back away and want to spend less time with you, dude. I don't want to come across as weak or needy, though, and your book suggests allowing her to initiate that conversation. Yep, especially when she's telling you she doesn't want a fucking relationship. I don't want to lose this woman, so I'm at a crossroads here, and you're not at a crossroads, dude. Just live in the moment and enjoy it. Hang out, have fun, and hook up. Stop trying to force your kids into her life, and stop trying to force her to have your kids in your life, and stop trying to force yourself into her family. Create an opportunity for sex to happen. That is your responsibility. Focus on that. And if she wants to suggest doing something with the kids, if she's like, well, I really want to see you, but I had kids all weekend. I was like, well, you want to get together and do something with the kids as well? Sure. Okay, great. I'll pick you up at 8. I know exactly what we'll do. Well, yeah, what is that? Just everybody dress casual. I got something fun for everybody. He says, I don't want to lose this woman, so I'm at a crossroads here, and I'm wondering if I should be more assertive with letting her know what I want out of this. Dude, she knows you want a relationship. You think you're keeping it on the down low, but your actions and your words, it's coming out. She knows you want a relationship. That's why she keeps telling you, I'm not ready for a serious relationship yet. Women are not stupid. 95% of the self-help books on dating and relationships are bought by women. Women are way more prepared in this area than men are. Don't believe me? Ask 100 different women how many men they've met in their lives that really get them. They're like, they'll think that's the most. Are there any guys out there do you know any guys like that? Your advice may be just to date other women and not focus on just one. I know that it has its drawbacks, but I feel that with the time we've invested in one another and knowing her trust in me is terrible, or her trust in men is terrible, that me dating other women and her finding out would seriously hurt her and end any chance of me progressing this dating relationship with her into something more serious. Well, next time, if you continue what you're doing, and she says, I'm not ready for a serious relationship yet. Next time she says that, say, do you want to date other people? Do you want to date other guys? And you want me to date other women? I mean, what are you saying to me? I mean, you're bringing that up once again. I haven't asked you to be in a relationship, but you keep repeating to me you're not ready for a serious relationship. Do you want to have an open relationship where you can date and sleep with whoever you want, and I can date and sleep with whoever I want? I mean, what are you trying to communicate to me here? What do you mean by saying that? Get her to expound upon that and expand upon that. Your thoughts and suggestions would be appreciated. Thanks. So, like I said, I've gone through and I pretty much beat this dead horse into hamburger meat, but I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not ready for a serious relationship yet. When a woman says that, that means you do not bring that up. That would be a bad thing. That would cause a major setback in your desire to have a relationship. So it's like, sit back, relax, wait to hear from her, hang out, have fun, and hook up. Rinse, recycle, repeat. That's your job in a courtship, is to create an opportunity for sex to happen. Nothing more, nothing less. When she's ready for a relationship, she will let you know. So you need to put that thought out of your fucking mind. But again, if she does throw that in your face again, that she's not ready for a serious relationship, then say, hey, do you want to date other people? Do you want to date around? Do you want me to date around? I mean, what do you mean by that? I mean, if you're cool with that, then yeah, I don't want to, but I'll date other women. See what she has to say. And then handle it from there. So if you'd like to get my help personally, the quickest way is to book a paid phone, Skype, or email coaching session. You can choose any of those options by going to my website, clicking the products tab at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions for booking whichever option works best for you. And I will talk to you soon.